Texas Longhorns head to Nashville, Tennessee to take on Vanderbilt, looking to bounce back from a tough loss, their first of the season, coming at the hands of the Georgia Bulldogs. Helping us talk all things Texas, Peyton Yager, who is a reporter for Fox 4 News in Dallas-Fort Worth. Peyton, what's going on? And a noted Longhorn fan, by the way, I might add. What's going on, Peyton? Appreciate you taking the time.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got to start with the Georgia game. You know, we got to go there first. And we can talk the entire season, too, just your takeaways. Because obviously to that point, Texas is number one in the country. Vibes are high, feeling really good. Ironically enough, Peyton, it was around this time last week that I learned about what UTSD is. I'd never heard that in my life, but UTSD, which is essentially the fear that Texas is going to fall flat in a big game. Unfortunately, all of Texas fans' worst dreams are realized against Georgia. What did you see from Texas to that point and in the game last weekend, which obviously didn't go the Horns' way? Still a lot to be excited about. There's a lot to play for, but just what you saw in that last game against the Georgia Bulldogs.
I love how you used UTSD. I know what that is. I guess I've just never heard. I have heard it before, but I just say like it was just too good to be true. Like I am realistic. So for people who don't know me, I'm a graduate of UT. I graduated in 2017. I had Charlie Strong for 3 years. So I am used to this. This feeling right now is my homeland. You know, what we were feeling for the last 6 weeks was euphoria. So I'm not going to lie. I'm always very cautiously pessimistic. I will be honest with you, not cautiously optimistic. I'm like, I was nervous for the OU game. People were like, you're crazy. And let me just say, like, I'm not a sports analyst. I follow the Longhorns. I know every guy on the team, but I'm not like choosing X's, O's and doing the stats. Like I know who we're going to, et cetera. But the vibes going into Georgia, I was like, I'm nervous. And everyone at the tailgate was like, we're winning by 10 plus. They're going to cover, obviously. I was like, guys, I went to school when we lost to Kansas at Kansas to not make a bowl game. Like, I know where we're going with this. And we just got socked in the mouth like over and over and over and over again. And I was, as you can tell, my voice is kind of gone. So I was yelling, I was screaming, but they were clearly the better team. Do I think we can play better? Do I think we can play to that caliber and beat them? Yes. But right now, we were out hustled. They looked better. I'm no football coach, but out coached everything. So, and I'm not asking for sympathy. I know everyone's like Texas fans need sympathy. Like, bring it on. I worked in Fayetteville. I worked in Oklahoma City, and I now work in Dallas. And my boss is an Aggie. Like, bring it with the water bottle jokes. Like the whole welcome to the SEC. Like, this is something that we're just getting used to as a fan. In the Big 12, you had to run the table. You had to even get a shot. And maybe not even in the college football playoff. So, you know, people are like, welcome to the SEC. It's like, okay, I guess I am learning. Like, you got to get socked by Georgia or Tennessee or Alabama, and you got to get over it. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Peyton, on a side note, you mentioned the welcome to the SEC moment. And again, you're a Texas alum. We're there during the Charlie Strong days, which God bless you, obviously, for that. What's been your biggest takeaway to this point from life in the SEC as a Texas fan? Has anything jumped out to you specifically that has been noteworthy?
I mean, like, I just like the welcome to the SEC. I'm so like, please, it is the number one thing in my DMs. It's the number one thing on my comments. I was tweeted at on Saturday, but I'm like, we beat Alabama on the road last year. Like, I'm just like, are we forgetting that? I realize people think it's a fluke, but we went on to be in the college football playoffs. So I'm just like, welcome to the SEC. Like, it's overused maybe, but granted, the SEC is fantastic. I'm so glad we're here. I think it's going to help us in the long run. We're up there with recruiting. Like, we can hang with the boys. We just got socked in the first round, literally. But Texas will, and something I need to remind myself of, the name, the brand, like, it just will always either be loved or hated. Like, that's just the way that it is. So I guess I'm learning to just embrace it. Like sometimes we were so bad when I was in college. It's like, okay, we're so bad. We're still getting all this recognition. I know why. Everyone, every time it's like, why is Texas ranked before the season at like 21? It's like, oh, because they're Texas. And so I'm just kind of like used to it. But like the water bottle things, like I work for local news and like that was a huge story in Dallas. I'm just like, why? I don't see it, but I guess it's just the brand. So I've noticed that more amped up in the SEC. But yeah, we definitely got popped, and I'll be the first to admit it.
Yeah, Peyton, I want to ask you about specifically the vibes amongst the Texas fan base in Austin, and then of course with yourself. What's the feeling on the quarterback position right now? Quinn Ewers gets benched in that game. Arch Manning comes in. Quinn Ewers comes back in. But like, what's the feeling? Because I think that, leaving that game, I'm sure you would agree, and I agree with Texas folks, that I think the Longhorns are going to be fine in the long haul. I mean, you ran into Georgia, who is the creme de la creme when it comes to this conference. They have been for a while. But it kind of feels like it's opened Pandora's box a little bit to where, let's say this game in Nashville, which we'll get into more in a second, or just down the road, if Quinn is to struggle at any point, the calls for Arch Manning are going to be very, very loud. I mean, are there mixed feelings in the fan base amongst who should be the starting quarterback? Does it still feel like this is Quinn Ewers' team, or like what's the vibe right now with the quarterback position specifically?
It's wild because it is so, I feel like, split, and that's what's, I'm not going to say annoying, and I'm not trying to like put blame on Sark or empathize with him, but that is rough, because he has been pushing to the fan base all year. Quinn is our guy. I have a Quinn jersey. I wore a Quinn jersey to the game on Saturday as he's not doing fantastic. And I literally could have painted a clown on my face walking around. Like Georgia fans were like, you suck. Like, and I am the biggest supporter of Quinn. So I think the true Texas fans, like the fans on Twitter, the fans on the message boards, follow what Sark says, and Quinn is our guy. Quinn's our guy. We've never had the luxury, really, I guess, of having someone back up this great. So maybe we are quick to, like, some fans are quick to, I mean, I'm not going to lie. After however many 3 and outs on Saturday, I was like, maybe, but it's Quinn's our guy, and Sark wants us to drink that juice, and I'm in it. Is he gonna have to come out on Saturday and go balls to the wall? 100%, or people are gonna be mad. But that's just the way that Longhorn Nation is. I mean, I'm sure it's Bama fans, LSU fans. That's just life. But I'm rolling with them. I literally bought his jersey for the Georgia game. It was like running around the tailgate like, this is the guy that's going to have the biggest game ever. And it was like, so I'm rolling with them.
Yeah, you got to. I think that is definitely, I mean, like you said, I take what Sark says as well, that Quinn is the guy for Texas. We'll see how much Arch plays down the stretch. But as we look at this game, Peyton, in Nashville against Vanderbilt, I'm sure you've seen from afar, they've been kind of giant killers this year. Obviously pulled one of the most memorable upsets in college football history, beating Alabama. I'll ask you this simply. What do you know about Vandy going into this game? Because I'm sure when you got the news Texas was going into the SEC, Vandy wasn't probably the first team that you were like, hey, let me go learn about everybody in the SEC. Let me go talk about or learn about the Vanderbilt Commodores. I mean, trust me, we're as surprised as you guys probably all are that Vanderbilt, I mean, the fact that Texas is catching Vandy ranked, it's been a decade since Vanderbilt was ranked. I mean, that's how rare this is. So just, Peyton, whatever you know about Vandy, obviously Diego Pavia is their big guy at quarterback, but thoughts on the Vanderbilt Commodores and challenge they might present. I feel like most Texas fans feel like this game is about Texas and what they do versus what Vandy does.
For sure. And like this can be clipped and like I don't care, but I don't know much about them. I do know about the quarterback because like obviously he's like all over social media, and I watched him against Bama and Kentucky, correct? So yeah, like the fact that we are playing a ranked Vandy is so something that would happen to Texas. It's ungodly. Like, it's ungodly. But I'm nervous the rest of the way out. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, it is no cakewalk. We have Vandy and then Arkansas. Or no, Florida, then Arkansas or something. So I'm not going to lie. I've taken a break from Texas Twitter football for the last 48 hours. Like, yesterday when people had that little like 24/7 fiasco of Quinn Ewers, I was like, I am in my quarantine for 48 hours. Do not message me. I think that it's just going to be a bounce back. I mean, I hate to say it. It's so cliche, but this is more for us and more for them. You got embarrassed on one of the biggest stages of the season. And so especially like Quinn, I love you, but it's going to be up to him. Also, our O-line kind of got exposed. I don't know really anything about the Vandy O-line. I'm going to be honest, but who cares? I don't care who it is. They better be practicing right now. It's 12:15 on a Tuesday, and I'm not even kidding you, but they better be going hard. That O-line.
Yeah. We're speaking on Tuesday. On Monday was quite interesting. It was a quite interesting start to the week. And I told you this, Peyton, not to make this about me or us, but there have been people out there that have been questioning like the voodoo magic that the SEC Unfiltered tour is on. And I'm like, listen, the Quinn Ewers leak thing, I'm just saying, don't tempt me. Don't test us. I'm not wishing any ill will on anybody, but it's been a weird run we've been on. That's saying the drama has already started this week. So hopefully it doesn't follow the Longhorns into the weekend. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah,
I would
but yeah, people really will start probably paying us not to go to their games. At least the road teams will. It all starts and ends with Quinn Ewers. Texas should win. What specifically you're looking for in the game on Saturday outside of a win against Vanderbilt?
I just want Quinn to look comfortable. I feel like even the OU game, first of all, OU's god awful. So whatever. But even in the OU game, we're riding the high of the wind because we hate them. But still, Quinn was kind of like, rusty. Obviously, no performance at all against Georgia. So I'm just looking for that calm, cool, comfortable Quinn, not trying to be an alliteration here, that I saw in Ann Arbor, and I was there, and it was fantastic. Again, I don't know, the play calling, I still think was not fantastic. Maybe they just had no, like, pun intended, Kirby Smart outsmarted us on everything. There were sometimes we were going for it on 3rd and 4th down, and that play wasn't even going to get us a first down. So I'm glad we're doing. I noticed just he was quick to throw the ball, maybe like laterally or maybe for a few yards. When we had Gunnar Helm, we just like wait for a second. I realized we couldn't with our O-line kind of not giving us that time. I'm just looking for the calm, cool, collected team that I saw in Ann Arbor and in Dallas. Let me make this clear. I'm an away game Longhorn fan. I love going to away games. That is where I thrive. Went to Ann Arbor. I went to Alabama last year, Fayetteville, and then Dallas. Obviously, I live here. So I'm just like, I just feel like they are calm on the road, though. Home, which I was really excited for a night game. I haven't been to a night game in maybe like 5 years, and we just dumped all that money into it. And I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. And I was just like, bleh. But that's what I'm hoping for. Calm, cool, collected, better play calling, hopefully a little bit more time in the pocket. And I think that'll be fine.
How do you think Texas fans will travel to Nashville? I guess you won't be there, but as far as
honestly, I think that is more my worry than the score. Is
too much partying on Broadway.
No, I'm worried. It's not gonna. And we travel well. Don't get like Ann Arbor was insane. Had to be 40K there. Bama last year, insane. Like Red River, wild. Like I'm just a little worried coming off of this and this. I'm just hoping people had their tickets in advance and they're making like a Nashville thing out of it. I'm not going. I gotta work. I have taken off way too much time this year for the Longhorns. But I'm nervous about that. I just hope that Longhorn Nation will go.
Well, typically it's a takeover for the visiting team at Vandy games, Peyton, if you've watched. So I would assume Texas fans will show up and show out, but it will be I will be getting in town Friday afternoon. I think we'll have a pretty good gauge of it by I per sources will be venturing to Broadway to get an experience. So I think we'll be able to gauge it pretty well by how much burnt orange is on Broadway. I think it'll be good. I think a lot of Texas fans have reached out to me saying they're going to be there, but again, we'll see what the stadium looks like. But yeah, I think a Nashville, it's the best. By the way, I've been told, and this will be my first one. I've been told it's the best road trip in the SEC. So
I've never been to Nashville. I've never been.
This will only be my second time, and the first time I went was for SEC Media Day, so I was so kind of just locked in my bubble. This will be more of like a fun trip. We'll have the GoPro on us vlogging the whole weekend, so it's going to be should be electric. Probably going to check out Morgan Wallen's bar and Aldine's and all that. So it'll be a good time. Peyton Yager, Fox 4 News, Dallas, Fort Worth. Peyton, a great follow, by the way, on social media for all things Texas. You can follow along with Peyton's the highs and lows of being a Texas fan. I feel like you do a good job of encapsulating that with when Texas is doing really, really well, and then when they're doing poorly, you get kind of the sulking face Peyton on the timeline. So y'all definitely go follow. Let folks know where they can check you out, by the way, just all your handles, all your work you're doing, everything. Because, again, you're doing a lot of stuff outside of sports.
So for the people that don't understand, they're like, who is this lady? I do local news for Fox 4. Like, I do generic news, like what's going on in DFW. I just love the Longhorns, so I'm going to post about the Longhorns. But if you're in DFW, I'm on Fox 4 News at 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. Monday through Friday. On my social media, it's all just at Peyton Yager. Peyton spelled like the Peyton Manning. Yager like the shot. Yager. I'm sure you guys can find me.
Peyton, appreciate you taking the time, and best of luck to the Horns this weekend. And we'll see you in Austin later this season.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to go to Florida, maybe Kentucky. So I'll message you.
Awesome, sounds good. Appreciate it, Peyton.
Thank you.